Hi juniors, this is Mrs. Gottnicki and I have created this presentation to help you get past some of the problematic spots in the writing portfolio, namely precise language and style outcomes. So to begin, what is precise content-specific language, or how can you meet outcome 1112W1C? Well, I'm going to ask you first, do any of these content-specific terms look familiar to you? And as you can see, we have theme, characters, personification, alliteration, flashback, setting, symbolism, analogies, metaphor, allusion, protagonist, antagonist, and mood. Yes, you are quite familiar with all of those. And what about these precise verbs? And as you can see here, you have present, or employ, or define, or describe, or compare, determine, produce, evaluate. And those are all verbs that you have incorporated into your writing as well. So you're very familiar with those. So here's a short definition of precise content-based language. In short, you wrote about literature all year long, and that's what content-based means. Our content was literature. So with the exception of your writing notebook, it's possible to argue that all of your writing contains precise content-based language. And sometimes this is explicit or stated directly, such as when you would use something like the term plot or conflict, character, theme. That's explicit content-based language. And sometimes it is implicit, and that's expressed indirectly through analysis, such as when you talk about how the writer develops or resolves or describes or illustrates or demonstrate and so on. Another way to identify precise content-based language in your writing is to look for original expressive word choice or places where you have incorporated metaphors, similes, or allusions, which is content-based, to express your meaning. Long story short, I know your writing is full of these. I think what happened with this particular outcome is that it simply wasn't language you were familiar with, and so therefore that's what caused the confusion. So the next outcome is style. So what is style in writing, and how do you meet 1112 W1F? Well, you know what style looks like in clothing, right? So I'm going to give you an analogy here. To begin, you might see something like this, which would be boho chic kind of style, and then maybe this, which is perhaps a sporty style, and then this, which is a more formal style, right? And so style in writing is not so much different. Writing style is simply how the writer chooses to express himself or herself through writing. And style of a piece of writing is the way in which features of the language are used to convey meaning, typically within the constraints of the more widely accepted conventions of usage, grammar, and spelling. So let me give you some specific examples to illustrate what all that means. Writing style varies with assignment. Your assignments all have style. Really what I'm asking you to do for that outcome is just to identify which style it is you're adhering to. So persuasive or analytical writing assignments are typically written in a formal academic style from impersonal third-person point of view, which is designed to emphasize ideas rather than opinions. And so, of course, the writer follows the conventions of standard written English, which would be complete sentences and capitals and periods and commas and paragraphs and all that good stuff that you use. Personal writing is less formal and reflects the feelings and emotions of the writer as evidenced through first-person pronouns, and is less likely to reflect conventions of standard English, because personal writing is just for you, right? So it doesn't matter so much whether or not you put your ideas into paragraphs, because you're not necessarily thinking of another person when you're writing. You're thinking of yourself. And so, of course, unlike academic writing, you have first-person pronouns because it's all about your opinion and your feelings, and that's the whole point of personal writing. And we explored a couple blended genres this year, or rather one blended genre, which was the roundtable writing assignment, and that incorporates traits from both academic writing as well as personal writing. It's academic in that it was formal, it included paragraphs, and I expected you to organize your ideas in a way that were logical, but it was personal in that it was a little bit less strict about the business of opinions. And you could express yourself a little bit by saying, I disagree, and then going on to point out why you disagree. So, like I said at the beginning of this slide, your writing has style. It's just a question of identifying which piece and which style. That pretty much wraps it up for this presentation. Please reach out to me with questions if you have them about other specific outcomes. It is my feeling that your writing, for the most part, reflects all of these outcomes, and I would be happy to help you identify which pieces would work best for you.